Hey everybody, today we're going to be unboxing and checking out this Meta Quest 3. Hold on a second, I'm not a gamer, this is not a gaming channel. I play a couple games on my Commodore 64, but that's about it. So why would I end up with something like this? Let's find out. And this is the 128 gig model that I bought for just under $500. It comes with the factory head strap, which is not amazing, it's front heavy, and the internal battery does not have a whole lot of life, about 2 hours of use. Instructions on the box provide a QR code to download the app, how to put the thing on your head, and power it up. No liquid cleaners on these lenses. I'm one of those people holding out for Apple glasses for AR. This is a VR headset that has AR pass-through, which is a plus, but this is not an AR replacement. We'll explore what I mean by that. QR code and more information could also be found in the booklet provided. And I want to dispel a misconception here. We're installing the Meta app, not Facebook. You don't need a Facebook account to use this device. You create a separate account on Meta, though you can use your Facebook account if you wish to do so. Installed, I open it up, allow Bluetooth, and I'll select Continue with email address to create a Meta account. Continue. So we supply an email address and it's not going to recognize it in their system. Assuming it's a new one, we have the option to create a new account, which we do, providing a first and last name, followed by a birth date, after which we will provide a password. Next, opting out of junk mail, we'll press Create Account, then enter the confirmation code that came in our email. After this, we'll have to provide some basic information to create a profile, so we'll hit Next. Our name plus an account name, and hit Next. Continue as this person we just signed up as. Opt in or out for data sharing, it's your choice. Select a device to pair, obviously we're going to choose the Quest 3. There are a couple different ways to connect it to Wi-Fi. We're going to use the QR code from this app method number 2. Hit Continue. It's already got our network name. We type in the password and press Get a QR code. The headset would then be used to scan this QR code. As it's not yet up and running, there's no screen capture to show this. But we can see the app react to the scan. We'll select a private invite-only profile and hit Confirm. Read what's made available, and hit Accept and Continue. At this point, we did select Create an Avatar, and I sat down with my wife. We made an avatar of her face. This account I made was under her name, so I'm not going to get too deep into the avatar. We just made a little cartoon picture, and we moved on. Then we pressed Done. Moved on to payment information, which also includes the addition of a 4-digit PIN so nobody could pick up your device and download apps on your behalf. After this, the app looks for the headset. And once it's found, it's going to ask you to supply the 5-digit pairing code that's displayed inside the headset. Now, initially, as I did this while checking the headset status, we could see that it returned an error. And this happened twice till I realized you cannot pair the device while it's doing a software update, which it was to revision 6.2 at the time, and I had to wait for that to complete and reboot before I could pair the device, after which there was no problem pairing. And we select Allow on the request to find devices on the local network. Then we're notified pairing is successful. We hit Continue. We acknowledge health and safety to keep their lawyers happy. Press Continue. They ask about that data opting in again. Definitely enable hand and body tracking. And that's it, we're ready to go. We'll hit Done. This brings us to the main screen of the app. We got a request to receive notifications. I'll hit Allow. And now plug the device in because it's at 63% and I don't yet have an external battery. Turning the unit over, we'll see that there's a knob that's used to adjust the distance between your eyes. It doesn't show up in the screen record, so I've made my own, but if we turn the knob, we'll see as the eyes become closer or further together, the number changes. We want to set it to our correct value. And there are several apps on iPhone and Android that allow you to do this, or you could ask your ophthalmologist for this value. You'll want to set the ideal distance from your eyes to the lenses with this button right here. There's an indicator in white that lets you know where it's currently set at. I adjust this one, we could see that white dot is moving. it's important that the one on the other side be matched to the one on the previous side. I'm setting mine to my ideal position so that my eyelashes are not touching the lens. With that in mind, fingerprints will destroy the VR experience. With a microfiber lens cleaning cloth, we make small circles from the middle outwards towards the end of the glass on both sides, ensuring that there are no more streaks and smudges that could be visibly seen. This also includes cleaning the 3 camera lenses up front, as well as the 2 camera lenses on the side. So I'm just trying to go over basic layout of the UI here in the lab. And we can see that there are 3 slots for the windows in this mode. If you keep it in the middle, stuff is going to load in the middle. So you want to move stuff off to the side, and that way you can load up more than one thing. We can see up to 3 different applications can be loaded in this manner currently. At this moment, I'm using the controllers to control the Oculus. I hit X to close out the windows I want to close, leaving me with that bottom bar right here. I'll now enter the immersive or VR mode, and because this room does not yet have a boundary, I'm going to create a boundary in this room, and I'm going to look around the room, and it's going to determine what a good boundary would be. There isn't much space here for a large boundary, so it's going to be stationary. I'll hit confirm. And with that, we're now in the VR mode. Spin around 360, we could see that everything, obviously, is in VR. Turning back now, I could then move around within that predetermined boundary without any issues. We could see my hand and the controller within the VR. But if I step outside the boundary, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean back outside of this blue circle we see here, what'll happen is we'll see the regular AR, and that's to provide safety so I don't end up walking into a wall. I can move this bar around where I choose, open up applications just as I did in AR. Applications are still bound by these 3 slots that we saw before along this horizontal axis. This is true even in that distant 3D mode. You still get those 3 slots. I hear there might be a UI change in an upcoming release. We'll see what happens. Now my perspective is currently facing this back wall, but if I open up this bar, I want to change my perspective to face the left. I could hit reset view over here. The 3D printer is now over here. As my perspective has changed, we'll enable pass through, have a look, and we see that it is over right here to my right. I'll set it back to AR again, and we'll reset the view. I don't have to set to AR to reset the view, I just choose to. So we'll press reset view, and I'll stare where the printer is. Now turning on pass through, we'll see our perspective is set back to the printer. Obviously the AR view is through a camera, so we're going to get some distortion when we get really close, as we see here in the near field view. Also, it doesn't look as good through the camera as it does in the video capture. I'll try and demonstrate that what I see is more grainy than what you see here. A lot of demos tried to pass it off as this was the actual quality people were seeing, and that wasn't cool at all. Of course, any digital content superimposed through AR looks really nice. I'm going to tap it twice to disable these controllers now so we could try using our hands only to control the unit. Closing the thumb and pointer on the right side is like pressing the Meta button, which allows us to open the menu, and it's different with the hand. You could grab like this by pinching, grabbing this bottom menu. I could just physically grab it like that. We could also see the superimposed hand over my hand as I move it off to the right, pressing buttons. I open an app like YouTube VR, which I'll get into more later, but I just wanted to show it in this mode where we're looking at it in AR off to the right while I'm working. I got one of my videos going in a window. Here's how it looks flat instead of 3D. And while it's running in a windowed mode, I could open up a further 2 more windows for a total of 3 windows again. I'll tell you one incredible app here is the Meta Quest TV, which is almost impossible to explain on camera without the headset. But here's a snippet of David Attenborough in 360, and I'm just going to speed through this to avoid any sort of copyright claim. This is just to show in fair use how this functions, but we can see in all directions, 360 degrees, I'm floating in space as this is demonstrated, and I thought this was a good demo to display this, because you're just floating in space, observing this in all directions. It's just crazy. There's a ton of content like this, absolutely fabulous. But moving on, I'll point out that I don't have the camera bumped up to full resolution for recording. This is at 10 meg on landscape, and it looks very nice. I could go higher, but this is definitely sufficient for capturing for the purpose of YouTube videos. It's worth noting that while I was making this footage, I was able to then review the footage that I had just made on the Oculus, for which I made a video of me making a video of the footage that I had just made. Yeah, kind of weird, but yeah, it works. I want to go through some of the remote desktops. This is Meta's offering, but it's still in beta. It starts with sending yourself a download link, which I send to my email address. And on my computer, I download an application. This is the Mac version, which I'll then go through an installation, allow certain permissions on my computer. Once installed, I'll log in using my Meta account, pull the confirmation code from my email and type it in, continue as myself, modify more permissions, allow microphone access. Now it says go to headset to connect. On the headset, I see my Mac, so I select it, and now it's added on my desktop, and we can see that it's connecting, and now it's connected. It killed my video that I was recording as it did, but that's fine. This is a bare bones remote desktop, and it functions in the 3 panels as the other apps we saw, but it is only beta, so I'm going easy on it. It also can function in this flat panel mode as well, and I could position it in any location I want. And it's remote desktop, no frills, not a whole lot of functions except the ability to change the resolutions as we see here, but that's pretty much it. The point is the installation of the other ones are pretty much the same, so I don't have to show it over and over again. You install it, install an app on the computer, change some permissions, and you run it, except the other ones are a lot more robust. We'll take a look at another one now. Every app I'm showing is free unless otherwise noted. Now this is Immersed, which is free but has paid value ads. This is really done up. Take a look at this. This is the work environment. This just happens to be one. I'll move this out of the way. This just happens to be one that I'm in. A really nice world that you can work in, whichever one you happen to select. I'll look around in this direction, and then I'm going to move my seat. I open up my controls here, change my seat over here so I can face the other direction. And we can see the other direction, and we can see one other person in this room right now. I'm going to select my Mac. I have my Mac and my Linux laptop set up on here. And we can see it comes up. The software has already been installed on it. We're not bound by those 3 sliding screens that we were on the Meta application. I can set the screen to curved. The free version supports 2 other virtual screens, so I'll add one here on the left. There's one of my recordings. And then I'll add another one, and it'll appear over on the right. And it doesn't have to be locked in, but I will lock it in so they could all move in unison. We can see it could be moved up top as well if I wanted to lock that in. And there's just a lot more freedom of movement and configuration on this application. This to me is the best one out of all of them. Opening the menu again so we can look at the settings. And there are 2 types of keyboards. We have pass-through, which I moved up top because I was testing the overlay tracked keyboard below. But that allows you to see an actual keyboard in real life through the AR. Keyboard will build a digital overlay of your keyboard if you use one of their supported keyboards. Definitely a lot more freedom in this program. This is the one that I actually use. You can see I'm actually stretching the monitors to size by hand, running content in all 3 individually at the same time. Something like this deserves its own separate video. I'm just trying to do a quick demonstration of how this functions. And again, watching a video of VR monitors versus actually having the headset on, there's no comparison. It's really hard to explain unless you're actually using it or have used it before. One last note, you could have multiple friends in here for collaboration and chat at a distance, so that feature is also in this program as well. And for those wondering how I move these video files onto my Mac, simply using Android File Transfer works natively with this device to get those files onto my computer. I'd only mentioned the YouTube app briefly, but they did it up really nice on the Oculus, and you could see that it's like a movie theater where you're the only guest. They have that lighting around the perimeter. I can use just my hands. As I open up the video, it's on a big screen where I can move the position of that screen, as well as bringing it closer or pulling it back, depending if I pull or push that video as I hold it. I like how the screen leaves a light silhouette on the floor. It's a nice touch. It's a small detail that makes it even better. Of course, I could also run it in a Windows mode as I've done before, pressing the same button to go back to full screen. The YouTube app is a definite win. Most modern phones can record 3D videos. They have something here called Spatial videos. And while obviously I cannot display this in a YouTube video because you can only see it on the set, I'll point out that the Oculus can display 3D videos and 3D videos that you record. Next is a fitness monitor called Move, and we'll configure that now by hitting Next, and Next again, and Next again. Then choosing my sex, and then my height, and then my weight, and finally my birthday. I'll just hit confirm because it's already in there. Now it'll ask me what my realistic expectations are for workout goal, how many days a week, how many move minutes, how many calories to make that bar move. So I'm just going to make this 3 and 30, 20, 25. There you go. And set the calories for 100 and hit next. And this is where it displays, and I don't want it to display always when I look up, so I would put don't show, but just for the video, I'm going to put it on top. Whenever I look up, it'll magically appear. I hit next, and now it says pick an app to, use this, some sort of fitness app, and my favorite fitness app is not on here, and we're going to look at that right now, because this made the Oculus alone worth having, just this one app. Les Mills Body Combat. I'll point out that this app is not free. It is a paid app. If you were skeptical about getting a complete workout from a headset, let me tell you, this is something. I mean, this is quite the workout. You'll notice the Move monitor appears here as I look up. There it is. You can see my standing position here in this circle, and this is just a warm-up right here. I'm just going to show little pieces of this because this is a complete workout depending on what you're doing. It knows how hard you're hitting these things. So the harder you hit, the more points you get. All sorts of different combinations are done, and leaning and moving out of the way and ducking and whatnot and swaying. And this could go on for half an hour in a single session, and it gets up there. It gets pretty intense. Like I said, this is one of my favorite apps on here because this is a substantial non-impact aerobic workout package right here. Point out again that watching it in a video versus being in the VR hardly does it any justice. This app is highly recommended. Another exercise app that I have is called Octonic, and it works with your treadmill. You could see the AR, my actual feet, walking through the bottom of the treadmill so you don't lose your orientation. But as you're walking, there are different worlds. You could actually run too. I've just set it for walking for this video. You could actually view stuff instead of staring at the wall or reruns of Law and Order. It's something more interesting, I suppose. But yeah, this is pretty cool for walking on a treadmill. This app is free, and you buy the separate maps that you want to use. Alternate apps are actually condoned and recommended by Meta. SideQuest is one such example. It comes with an installer for the application on both the computer as well as the Oculus. I'm going to install the Mac version right quick so we can have a look at the process. Very straightforward. Guided through the whole process to get it installed onto the Oculus. We see from the beginning it will detect the headset but find that developer mode is disabled. We see that now, Quest detected but nothing else. And we come to find that you have to be a member of the developer group, having to create an organization, which I do, and I click I understand, and then I click I agree, and then submit, and this will allow me to have that developer mode to enable. Clicking on the next step, we see where I'm supposed to do this, clicking developer mode and then developer mode, which is now called debug mode in the app, but no problem there. So I click developer mode, and in debug mode I click enable, and now we see developer mode and ADB detected. So now we have to do the authorization, which does not show in the Oculus, this authorization code in video record. So I'll show it as they displayed it in their video. And when I do that, I will get the device authorized, then installing SideQuest by clicking the red button, install SideQuest into your headset, and a few moments later, the application is installed. I do get an erroneous error on the bottom, but it's not a problem. We'll move over to the headset now and have a look. In the headset, I'll click Library, and we will see SideQuest, but only under unknown sources. We won't see it anywhere else. We'll select SideQuest and open it. As it opens, it'll tell us that there's an update available. We're not going to worry about the update right now. And it's just an app store, just like Meta has an app store, except it's a alternate app store that's not run by Meta. Some of the apps that you see here are ones that you'll find in the Meta app store, and some are just independent applications that you could run. So it's pretty cool. We do have to allow a security setting the first time as we install an app, allow from this source, but that's it. Everything just runs as normal. So I'll just choose an app, choose a download as sideload. We can see it downloading in the queue up top here. It started after another update had completed. Once downloaded, we'll press the installation button. And that's it. And those apps could also be found under unknown sources. I wouldn't blame you for not trusting the Chrome browser, and that's what comes with the Oculus, but Wolvic is actually an implementation of Mozilla Firefox, and that's what I use on my home computers, and we could see that it's a VR flavor of it. And you can actually go and sign in to your Mozilla account for all of your passwords and security and everything. And it's a secure implementation of Mozilla Firefox with all sorts of features, and you can move it around in this environment and everything. I really don't have any complaints about it, except that it only runs in this environment. It can't currently run in a window within the regular UI like I was able to do with YouTube when I didn't want to watch it full screen. That seems to be a bit overdone for a web browser. I don't want a full screen immersed experience for just a web browser, sometimes, so it seems a bit much, but that's my only complaint. It's a, fully featured web browser. There's more apps I could cover on this Oculus 3, but this video would start getting really long. If there's more interest, I'll make another video about this. Also, we could see this charging headset. Again, if there's any interest, I could also make another video. But that concludes this video on the Oculus 3 review for non-gamers. I hope you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below, helps me out a lot when you do, and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this when they come out. When the next video comes out in this series, a link will be posted in the top right corner. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?